Good afternoon, everyone. We're starting a few minutes early here. I have the start time at 6:05 Eastern, but we're here. We're ready. We got some people waiting. We're going to talk some DFS MLB tonight. We are going to look at DraftKings, FanDuel, PrizePicks, betting, DFSR tools, whatever you guys want to talk about. Throw it up in the chat, and I will cover it. We got a good promotion for PrizePicks I'll get into tonight as well. I've got not a free roll, but a giveaway. All I need you to do, you want to get in on that. I'll wait till a few more people pop in here, and then I'll kind of give details on that as well. I'm just going to share this in a few spots. Let everyone know that we are live talking some DFS baseball. There we go. Get that out there. And if you want to get a copy of the cheat sheet, some of our members only content, what you can do is head over to www.patreon.com/jagerbombs. For $10 a month, you can get one sport that gives you access to our Discord, that gives you access to the cheat sheet. We have members only picks, members only breakdowns, members only videos, one-on-one coaching on there as well. Or if you want access to all of our sports, we have 4 coaches in total, and we are covering 13 different sports right now. Right now we got live, maybe I think 6 or 7 sports are live going right now. So make sure to check that out, and that's only $20 a month. So make sure to go over to patreon.com/jagerbombs and sign up today. We've also got free trials, so you can come into our Discord chat. You can check out, we've got limited content for those trial members to kind of show you what we do have to offer throughout the week, kind of a little bit covering all sports. So there's a little bit of everything in there for you to check out. And if you want specific content as a trial member, something that you would like to see, the sport that you're into that you'd like to maybe see a little bit of, just give me a DM, throw a message up in that trial members chat, and I will see what I can do to get you a look into the content that we provide over at Jagerbombs Fantasy Sports. All right. So we are going to talk, like I said, DraftKings, FanDuel, PrizePicks. I am going to now get my screen shared. Pop that up. We will go over to the cheat sheet here to start with. I'm going to go over some core plays. Let's just make this bigger. Should have had all this prepared. But I'm usually just in a hurry and don't get that done. So for start of the starting pitcher tab today, bit of an interesting slate. I'm actually going to go ahead and just go full screen here. It's a lot easier for you guys to see the sheet above. Hide that, make that a little bit bigger. So a little bit of an interesting slate here. There's not really one pitcher that just stands out above the rest as a top pitcher tonight, so I don't blame you any way you go, because we do have some aces on the mound. We got Cole, Peralta, Wheeler, Giolito, Maile. You could say he's the ace for Cincinnati this year as well. We got them going at the top. Now, they've all got pretty tough matchups. We got Cole going up against Boston. They've been one of the top offenses in baseball lately and all season. The White Sox, even though injuries, they've been able to keep up as a top 5 offense all season. So Peralta has a tough matchup. On the other side of that game, you got Giolito, who goes up against Milwaukee. I like that matchup a little bit more. As you can see, Milwaukee's been striking out 26% of the time on the season. So that's a really good matchup there. Stands out 11% below league average in terms of WRC plus. And 24% carried over the last 14 days, 25 over the last 7. So it's a pretty good matchup, except they are the underdog here. I do like that as a GPP pivot, but my top pitcher tonight is going to be Wheeler. Just Atlanta without Acuna just isn't the same amount of power. They're a -150 favorite. Philly is tonight, and a 7.5 total. Go over and look at his stats. We've got no weather concerns. Not a great park by any means, but none of them really do have a great park at the top. He's got, actually, if you're comparing him to Cole, who I think a lot of people will just go to Cole because of the name, obviously. Out of these top 5, he's definitely, I would say, the best pitcher. Not the best matchup at all. He's not even pitching the best right now. Looking at the numbers on the season, what surprised me when I started breaking this down last night, Wheeler has a better ERA, a better xFIP, very comparable whip here, a little bit lower K rate, and swinging strike rate. So the upside's obviously better with Cole. No one's really going to give you a 50 upside quite like Cole. Travis, how's it going? Good evening. Good to see you here. Like I said, throw up a question, smash that like button. That is going to be how you get into the draw for the $10 Fanatics card tonight. Throw up any question, whether it be DraftKings, FanDuel, DFSR tools, PrizePicks plays, strategy, bankroll management, you name it. I'll help you out. And then by the end of the show here, I'm going to, at about 6:30, 6:35 Eastern, I will announce a winner. I got a random generator over on another tab here that will pull out a name, and I'll send you a $10 Fanatics gift card. Thank you all for joining in. I will go over that one more time, but back to pitchers here real quick. Why Wheeler is my number one. His numbers, like I said, he comes a little bit cheaper than Cole on both sites. It's probably going to be a little bit lower owned. He's got better numbers here overall. The other thing that stands out in terms of safety for me, like I said, Cole, no one gives you that 50-point upside, that 5x upside quite like Cole. But for safety reasons, for cash games mostly, I do like Wheeler. As you can see, 12% less fly ball rate here. He gives up 7% more ground balls he produces. I really like that for safety, less fly balls. He's not going to give up those home runs. Eden, how's it going? Welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Just talking some pitchers here, getting things started. Zach Wheeler's my favorite. Why I like him a little bit more than Cole, especially for safety reasons. For cash games, he produces way less fly balls, more ground balls. Has a better ERA, better xFIP on the season, comparable WHIP. So they're pretty much very comparable numbers. But the safety, Wheeler's a little bit better and a little bit cheaper here. As you can see, he's given up. He's the only pitcher on the slate under 30% hard contact given up as well. A very low slate, low 84.6% exit velo on average, very low WOBA, xWOBA. It's just all there for Wheeler. I like the price, and I'm going to be in cash games putting him with Montas for Oakland. He's a minus 120 favorite. Again, another low total here, but I like when we're breaking him down. I'll bring up DraftKings. I'm going to just open a contest so we can have a look at that. Well, I believe it's a 3,900 average when you start putting in Wheeler and Montas together. Yeah, 3,937 here. He's a good favorite against Seattle. Seattle's been better, but 4 straight starts. He's given up 2 or fewer earned runs. He's gone into the 6th inning in all of these starts. I believe he went into this 6th inning here against San Francisco. I'm not 100% on that, but I believe he went in and then was pulled after giving up a walker hit. With that pitch count, they don't really let him get up to 100 pitches, but he's been the walks have been good the last 2 starts. Let's say the last 2 starts have been what really stand out to me. 17 strikeouts and 2 walks after multiple walks in almost every single start. Before that, he has just a bad run of command. So he seems to have found that. He's found that K upside. It just feels like the price on this slate probably should be more in that 9,500 range. We have seen him in that range before going up against Texas. He is on the road here again against Seattle. It's a very comparable kind of matchup. So I do like that price there and that average of 39.37 left over. For GPP options here, favorite team for GPP, I'll get to that in just a second. But I mentioned Giolito. I like the numbers. I love the strikeout, the K upside Milwaukee provides as an opponent here with their strikeout rate, 26% on the season, 24% over the last 14 days, 25 over the last 7. That's since the All-Star break. So there is upside there with some possible ownership because he is the underdog in this one. I think people will be going for Alt. I think he'll be a little more higher owned because he is the favorite, especially anyone using like an optimizer. Those projections are obviously going to get a little bit of a boost because he is a favorite there. So I do like that as a pivot. I like Odorizzi. I like his win equity here. He's the biggest favorite, second biggest favorite on the site. Sorry, David Price down here is the biggest favorite, but he's probably not going deep into the game. So I'm not really considering him. My model doesn't know, obviously, those projections. So I would probably just manually go over here on Price and just manually boost him down, which will adjust everyone else's ranking here. So Odorizzi I like for cash games, just simply because there's not a lot of upside. I like the win potential here, obviously, as a minus 197 favorite. Sorry. 24% K rate on the season, 25 since the All-Star break, and they've just been terrible since the All-Star break. 71% below league average. Texas has been in WRC plus, which is the plus kind of gives it that park adjustment as well, so it puts everyone on the same field. So a 29 is absolutely terrible. But going and looking at Odorizzi here, if you want to use it for cash games and go, load up a little bit more on your bats and maybe go Montas and Odorizzi, I'm fine with that. you are fading a lot of top pitchers. That's probably more of a GPP line. But for Odorizzi, as you can tell here, he's just most of his finishes on average here are right around that 14, 15, 16 DK points. And that's what we need for like 2X, and that's a good floor. Not many times, and actually only once here, he's really given us a lot more than that and kind of given us that GPP upside. So I'm more on board with him in cash games if you want to go that route. And for GPP, I like Musgrove. I think people will be off of him looking at his most recent starts. It's been pretty rough for him. He's thrown a no-hitter this season, but lately he's given up 4 more earned runs in 3 of his last 4 starts, not getting deep into games, multiple walks, so the pitch count's getting up early. So the floor is very, very low for Musgrove. Would not consider him in cash, even at that price, even though we've seen him 95 to 10K. Tim, welcome to the show. Thanks for popping in. If you got a question, throw it up in chat. You will be entered for the $10 Fanatics gift card I'm giving away at the end of the show. So make sure to fire those questions off, everyone, to get into that. But back to Musgrove, the floor is very, very low here. But I think at that price, he can give us a 3X upside. He's got that K upside for sure. And going up against Miami, I do like that. So another option here, Zach Plesac down at 7,300, going up against Tampa. I always like pitchers going up against Tampa because of the K upside alone. They strike out almost more than anyone in the entire league. That's helped a little bit with that trade yesterday. Nelson Cruz is going to be in the lineup after the trade yesterday, so keep that in mind. But still, they strike out a lot, so it is there, and his price is low enough. We go look at Plesac. 6 innings in his last start against Oakland, which is a below-average matchup. Oakland hasn't been a top offense this season, but I believe they're somewhere in that 13 to 15 range in terms of ranking, looking at WOBA WRC+. So that was a good outing for him. The strikeouts weren't there, and that's been the issue lately, is the strikeouts just have not been there. So hopefully this matchup against Tampa, who swings and misses a lot, will help him in that. And I think we could see, like, look at his price tag back in May here. He was in that 10,000 range. He touched 10K, even 9K in his first start back in July. Give up 5 hits over 4 innings, only went 55 pitches. He was limited to 55, 60 pitches going into that start. So that price tag was a little insane in the first place. So I don't think anyone was really playing him because that news was out for that. And then going into that Oakland start, it had dropped down after that bad start to 7,400. Now, he put up a good start. He gave us over 2X return on that. Even with only 3 strikeouts, he still gave us over 2X return. That's awesome for cash games. I would consider him for cash games as well if you want to go even cheaper. What was the Vegas odds here? So Stog, and I think he's going to be low owned just because he is an underdog here. It is a 9 total, where we do have a lot of 7.5 totals, but I do like that price. He needs 14 points to give us that 2X, and he's done that 1, 2, 3, and this is going back to early in the season here, but he's done that a lot. So that is a really good price. This is probably the lowest. If he has a good start here, even like 2 or 3 earned runs and puts up maybe 5, 6 innings, gets like 5 strikeouts, this is the lowest price I think we're going to see him probably from here on out. So it's kind of a buy low opportunity for Plesac as well. Yeah, I'm not sure why, KCC, but you were the winner of the last free roll. You really crushed it there in PGA last week. So that was awesome. Congratulations to you again. That $100 gift card sent your way. So you might as well grab another 10 and just keep buying shit, hey? Okay, we went over pitchers. Now I want to get into team stacking to my top for GPP. I'm going to answer Travis's question first here. Been waiting on that. So I'm loading up on Washington. They're my favorite for GPP, favorite for cash games, just simply because obviously the matchup, first of all, they've been red hot coming out of the All-Star break, highest WRC+, highest WOBA, fourth highest ISO coming out of the All-Star break. They get a great matchup against Jorge Lopez, although it's been a run and a half better in terms of the XFIP versus ERA. Gives up a lot of walks and hits. That's a slate high 1.6 whip tonight. He's not giving up a ton of fly balls. 27% is a pretty good rate for a pitcher, but when they are going up in the air, they are leaving the park. 18.7% home run to fly ball rate is terrible. 90 mile an hour exit velo, 45% hard contact rate. The WOBA is high. The X-WOBA is not a whole lot better. If you're looking at the splits versus him, I like both sides of the plate. 371 WOBA and 360 WOBA to lefties and righties, so it really doesn't matter. But the biggest thing, and the reason, someone asked yesterday why My personal picks don't align always with the rankings from my model. First of all, these rankings in orange come from the model, and these are rankings off of all of these stats, whether it be the pitchers, the opponents, pitchers stats that I like to weigh in, whether it be overall, last 14, last 7 days, home road splits, left, right for that team. It's all factored into a model, and that's where the rankings come from. My own personal picks then come from highlights because the model obviously doesn't know the pricing of the players, doesn't know the starting lineup for today. So that's where I really go and I make the picks, and that's what I highlight. Green's going to be core, blue's going to be GPP only, yellow is going to be value. So then from this tab, I can link, just click on Washington here, click on that there, takes us over to the starting lineups tab. And I've now started to highlight, and this is my process again every day. All the early picks are going to be under these individual position tabs. That's when I do the picks the night before. That's where you'll find my initial picks. But once lineups start coming out, all my top picks you're going to find from those links from the team stacking tab over here. And now that you can distinguish between FanDuel and DraftKings picks because I highlight the price beside here. So on that, Washington is definitely my favorite. Alcides Escobar, 3,200 and 2,700 is way too cheap for leadoff hitter. If we go just look at he's going to be in my corner. I'm just going to kind of fill out a lineup as we go here and discuss this. Second base, 3,200 on DraftKings if you want to pay up for two pitchers and kind of in that 17 to 19,000 range total on DraftKings. Escobar is a player I'm going to have for sure in my lineup at 3,200. Since he got traded over here, he's just been on fire. He's got hits, I believe, in 11 of 14 or 11 of 15 games, hitting about 300 with like a 450 WOBA. Absolutely love it. Multi-hit games, hitting leadoff, tons of opportunity, and just way too cheap. So we're going to go and plug him in there. Turner and Soto, this just feels too cheap for me. Soto, the big question going into the home run derby was, can he find his power stroke? Well, he's most definitely found his power stroke. He's got 2 or 3 home runs. Actually going to bring up that game log here for Soto because he would be my favorite bat on the whole entire slate. I'm going to talk about him for PrizePicks as well. But on a slate where there's guys in the $6,500 range, Soto is not one of those. He's in the mid 5K range. This just feels like a buy low on Soto. He's going to be in 6K in absolutely no time. Out of the All-Star break, he has got hits in 4 straight and 5 of 6, 3 games where he's had 3 or more hits. Sorry, he's got 5 home runs and 2 doubles as well. He's just been red hot. We cannot fade him at 5,600. So Escobar and Soto are definitely my top 2. I talked about in my DFSR article today. I do like Josh Harrison. I would like him better if he'd batting 5th or somewhere up towards the top, but he's not going to be pushing these other guys. I thought maybe he would jump, maybe Bell or Zimmerman. But either way, looking at Harrison, the price on DraftKings is just kind of silly right now. He gives you multi-position eligibility, whether you want to fit him at third or outfield. 2,600 is almost min price, and he's got hits in, I believe, all 5 games since the All-Star break. Yeah, hits in 6 straight since the All-Star game with what we got 5 doubles in here as well. So he's giving you a really good 7-point floor and 20-point upside at that price. That is huge points per dollar value. So for cash games, I just love this build right here with Wheeler, Montas, Escobar, Harrison, and Soto. Leaves you with a 4,000 average still. So that's kind of where I'm starting my cash games today. Even GPPs, I like building around Washington just because I feel not one team is going to be more high owned than another. I don't think we're going to see one that just really jumps out above the rest just because there's so many really good options here. So to answer your question again, long-winded there, but I do like Washington as my top team. Houston is right there close as well. Look at this slate. We've got 8 teams that are projected for 5 or more runs, two more that are 4.9 based on the Vegas multiplier as well. So Houston I like versus Allard. Allard has really struggled. He's been a pretty good rookie overall, but he has struggled a little bit recently. We want to target right-handed bats against him. He's really neutralized the left-handed bats quite well, actually. 260 WOBA against lefties, 302 versus righties. So he has neutralized them a little bit better, but the xFIP's a little worse there, and the power as well. So looking at Houston's lineup, Michael Brantley, his price never goes up. if you need a value, 3,600 in the outfield. I don't even care that it's a lefty-lefty matchup and he's slightly below average versus lefties. 3,600 for he literally leads the major leagues of baseball in average. The league leader in average is 3,600 on DraftKings. That's like, I want to say like 30 or 35th most expensive on DraftKings tonight. Even 3,200 seems a little cheap on FanDuel. Got the kids leaving. 3,600 on or 3,200 on FanDuel is still a little bit too cheap. And then you got Gurriel right behind him. If you're looking for sequence, if you're looking for a team that's projected for 5+ runs, if you're looking for value, a high floor, high upside. I wrote them both up in my DFSR article. Again, I swear every single DFSR article I write these guys up, but it's really hard to ignore these prices. 4,600 is too cheap for Gurriel, hitting 315 with a 380 on base percentage, just the safety there. And he gives you power here as well. I don't have that there. Let's slide over to the first base tab and look at Gurriel for the season here. He has got, so only 10 home runs, but 58 RBIs. I mean, he hits in a great spot in the lineup. You'd think he's third today, so that's a little bit of a boost for him jumping over because he has been hitting like fifth, sixth for a lot of the year. So he's hitting behind these guys who all have good on base percentage. Like looking at Houston here, 358, 377, 379, 348, 368. So he gets a ton of opportunities to drive in runs, and now he's hitting third, so that projected at bats is going to be up there as well. So Houston's definitely on my radar. Love them. Gurriel on FanDuel, yeah, 2,700 is way too cheap on FanDuel. That's like an auto lock at first base. And it may not work out. I want to make that clear that when I say that these guys are like a lock, it's just because of their price. You're getting a way too talented player at way too cheap. We have to buy low on these situations. It's kind of, I think of it a little bit like a stock market where you buy low, sell high. So you kind of ride a player when he's low and you know the talent. Like when George Springer was 3,500, then he was still cheap at 41, 42, and now he's in the 5K range. You want to buy low on these guys, and it all depends on the talent of the player. Like Soto, to me, is a buy low. Alcides, Escobar is a little bit of a buy low. He's always going to be a cheap guy because, you know, there's a reason he was out of baseball for a few years, and they just kind of recently traded for his rights to get him on the team. But a guy like Soto at 5,600 is a buy low for me, and that may seem crazy, but he should be 6,500 in my opinion, at least 59, 6,200. He's just been red hot. The algorithms have had enough time over 5-6 games to adjust for that. They haven't. He should be high owned, and I don't know how high owned he'll be because there's just so many teams. Another one here, Los Angeles. Before I do that, Justin Upton projection on DFSR. I think Doug is having a look at that right now, Eden. I will mention that to him. I'll send him a G chat here. Yeah, he's definitely cheap as well. So I probably just not in the static lineup. I did the article last night. He might have been one that wasn't in the static lineup, so that could be it. And if I had to guess, LA's lineup is probably not in yet. They seem to, oh no, it is in, and he is hitting cleanup tonight. So price is still low. He's not consistent, though. LA is another team that I absolutely love here, mostly for value. Goslin and Iglesias. So if you want to pay up for 3 or 4 big bats and pitching tonight, it is most definitely there. And that's why I think if you want to take this skill that I had and you want to throw in Trey Turner just to get more to the top of the lineup, you can definitely take out Harrison if you want. You can go Goslin, who is like free. I know he's not great. He's hitting, he hits lefties a little bit better than righties. He gets a good matchup, but it is a little bit of a downgrade for LA tonight with no Jared Walsh or Shohei Ohtani. But these two hitting 2-3 provide some nice one-off value. You don't have to stack LA, but for cash games, they have some nice pieces to help you either pay up for pitching or just stack 2 or 3 or 4 big bats tonight. So definitely like that. Best value GPP pitcher. Okay. Got you here, Mike. We're going to jump over to pitchers here again. I would probably have to say Musgrove just because he's going to give you like 5 points or like 20 or 25. So I think for that reason, people are going to be kind of stay away from him. I think they're going to go Odorizzi, seeing the -200 favorite going up against Texas, or Montas or Wheeler going up here. So I think 8,400 for Musgrove, how he's pitched lately. I definitely like that. PLESAC just worries me because of the K upside. I'm hoping he figures it out. So maybe people see that he's only got, averaging like 2 to 3 Ks over the last few starts. So they might go away from him, and Tampa does provide that upside. But Tampa's been a really good offense. I mean, they're right up there in the top 10 in baseball in terms of offense and just as an overall team. So getting a win is not only going to be tough, but just going deep into the game can be tough for them as well. But like I said, the strikeout upside there, it's cheap enough where you can go him and one of these top pitchers, whatever you choose, and go that way. Cole might be lower owned. If you like, I don't have access to any ownership projections for baseball, but if I had to guess, Cole against Boston might be a little bit lower owned. So if we can get Cole, the level of pitcher that he is, like I think he's still leading the odds for the AL Cy Young Award. I talked about him and Wheeler, how they have very comparable xFIP, ERA, WHIP, that sort of stuff, but the upside is higher with Cole. If there's any chance that Garrett Cole comes to us lower owned tonight, I love it for GPP. You could go Cole and PLESAC. I don't even mind going Cole and MONTAS, to be honest with you. Cole and Wheeler. No combination of any two pitchers on DraftKings gets you over 20K tonight, and with the amount of cheap value that is out there, like I talked about with LA, I think it is most definitely viable to go two top pitchers, and that might be your GPP pivot tonight for pitching. Because I think for cash games, going a little bit more balance is going to be the way to go. Like I said with Odorizzi, for cash games, he just gives you that win expectation as a minus 200 favorite going up against a terrible team in Texas. Especially, I mean, on FanDuel, you could definitely do that at 7,100. I don't think that's the way I would go, but if you want to load up on bats on FanDuel and cash games, Odorizzi is your ticket. That's the way it could go. I'd probably go with Montas at 86. I just really like that price. It's only 1,500 more for a pitcher that I like a lot more and gives you a lot more upside as well. All right. Maybe I already covered it. Some GPP plays in cash. Do you also use some of the GPP plays in cash? No, I do not. Anyone that is highlighted blue on the sheet is GPP only. I will not use those in cash games. Cash games come from the green plays and the yellow plays, not necessarily the teams. Like if you see like Cincinnati or Detroit as GPP on the team stacking tab, that means I like that team as a GPP stack. But there doesn't mean I don't like a piece or two as a one-off or two pieces on that team. Detroit is a good example. Well, not tonight. I like them as GPP only. I don't need any of their pieces. Some nights they have nice value pieces where all the other teams and pieces that I like are very expensive, where I will have a couple of them highlighted yellow, where I will use them as a one-off or whatever. But tonight, a good example is Cincinnati. I like them as a GPP team tonight. Again, I'm not going to them in cash games, except for if you need Jonathan India. I do like him at second or third base eligibility. The price for how consistent a 404 on base percentage, that is among the top 5 in the entire league. Getting a player that gets on base as much as he does at the top of the lineup, hitting cleanup, he hits lefties well, he gets a plus matchup, he checks all the boxes, and the price is mid 4K on DraftKings, 3,200 on FanDuel. That's one player on that Cincinnati team I would use as a one-off for cash games on a team that I've labeled as a GPP stack. If that makes any sense whatsoever, that's kind of the way I roll with the sheet when you're reading it. So this would be the team stacking. So my favorite teams to absolutely stack overall tonight in order would be Washington, Houston, Dodgers. LA is more of if you're really loading up on the expensive bats, like for instance in Los Angeles, they're very expensive at the top of the lineup. LA is a team you could mix in because Goslin and Iglesias are very cheap. If I had to choose between Goslin and Iglesias, I do like Iglesias a lot. He has been very good here. If we go look at his game logs, I like to see a player that has been hitting down near the bottom of the lineup. You're generally going to get him when he moves up in the lineup at a really good price. Yeah, he's been hot. He hits in 4 of his last 5. 4 doubles in that time as well. Now he's moving up the lineup. The price definitely has not adjusted. He should probably be low 4K, mid 4K, probably be a fair price for him. So that's the way I am looking at that tonight. Now jumping over to the PrizePicks tab. PrizePicks is having it's a 7-day event, I guess you could call it. I'm going to just bring that up and give you the details here. So they're going to have a challenge posted every single day for PrizePicks. And all you have to do is like today, day one challenge is place one MLB stat entry. So literally, I've got over here, let's just go over to the sheet first, over to the PrizePicks tab. I've got it all loaded up. I'm going to sort by implied runs, which is going to automatically bring our favorite teams, or my favorite teams, right near the top. So like I said, the way I look at it is I go through those team stacking tabs, and I'll first look for players on Washington, the Dodgers, Houston, and then I'll go to Cincinnati, Detroit, LA. Those are the players I'm going to try and target over here on PrizePicks. So members only. And if you just missed that there, I do have my picks up on the PrizePicks hitters tab for members only. So let's just go ahead and look at that. Washington, my number one play tonight is Juan Soto for PrizePicks, over 1.5 runs plus RBIs. Like I said, he's been scorching hot out of the All-Star break. He gets a tremendous matchup. He has absolutely crushed right-handed pitching. So runs, RBIs over. I wish he had a hits walks prop. I would even consider him for a fantasy score. But because of the promotion tonight, the day one challenge, it's the stat entries only. So that is hits plus walks, runs plus RBIs, and total bases. Keep that in mind if you are trying to get your pick in for that 7-day challenge over on PrizePicks. And if you're looking to sign up for PrizePicks, you haven't tried it out yet, definitely use my link. I'm going to post it here in chat in just a second. See if I can find it. I know I posted it this morning for everyone to sign up. I've got it pinned to the channel as well. I have found it. I am going to throw that now. Favorite play from the Astros is Gurriel. Well, it's close. It's Gurriel and Brantley. I'll just go back over here for you, Jeff. I'll scroll to Houston on the lineups tab. Both sites, I like Gurriel and Brantley. They're both massively underpriced. If I had to pick just one, price didn't matter, it would be Gurriel, just simply because he hits lefties a little bit better. And that is just, well, not a little bit better, like 58 WRC plus points, which is 58% better than league average over Brantley. So it's definitely Gurriel for me, but for price, Brantley's just too cheap. So I guess if I had to say for DraftKings, it would be Brantley. Gurriel over on FanDuel at 2,700, just too cheap for him. So those are my two top plays. So I posted the link here in chat. If you haven't tried out PrizePicks yet, you can use my link. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You can get in the 7-day challenge for MLB. My top picks are going to be posted in chat after this. I also rank them 1 through 5 usually every night. Tonight, I think I have 6 or 7 that I'm going to give you. So that pretty much tells you if I'm doing a 2-play power play, I'm going with number 1 and 2, 3-play flex, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5-play flex. I'm going to be using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in my rankings. So just so we have clarity, and you can see and you can kind of track my picks each and every night. I kind of like tracking it in chat as well. I play a lot more PrizePicks lately just because of time of doing more shows, more content, more sports, more sheets. So it's just worked out a lot easier for me to play PrizePicks. So I'm just going to jump back over to the tab here. Juan Soto, overruns RBIs would be my number 1. Excuse me. Have a quick drink here. Talked about India, not for the challenge, but fantasy score over. I like that. Going to the Angels here. Not really a whole lot stands out in terms of the challenge tonight. Total bases only comes from hits. I remind people, I had a few questions in chat. People DM me. Walks don't count for total bases, and it only counts like if you get a double, it's worth 2 total bases. You don't get the total bases after, the next hitter hits you over the third and home. You only get the total bases that come off of hits. So singles, doubles, triples, homers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But other picks that I like tonight, Detroit stands out. I do like Shoop and Candelario. I like them over hits and walks. They're both very, very good, especially Shoop against lefties. As you can tell, he's one of the best hitters against left-handed pitchers in the league. 406 WOBA, 159 WRC plus. A lot of power in there as well if you want to consider him for fantasy scoring or even for total bases. He does get a lot of extra base hits in there as well, so you could consider that. But my favorite with Shoop would be, or Scoop, or Shope, or however you say his last name. I don't care. Hits plus walks, 1.5 over. I like that. And then Candelario would be a secondary pick from Detroit. Scrolling down, and my picks are always going to be highlighted under this PrizePicks projections. in green, and then I rank them over here for members only as well. I do like the Mets going up against, and there's a GPP team. I didn't talk about them, and I forgot to highlight them, but I do like them going up against Mats. Mats can get into trouble. He has had times where he's looked very, very good. Love that as a Jays fan. He's also had times where when he gets in and he's missing with his fastball location, you know it's going to be a long night. And you can almost tell first inning that it's going to be a long 4 or 5 innings for him, and teams can rack up 4 or 5 runs and 2 or 3 home runs against him. So I was surprised to see the Mets having multiple hits, walks. I do like Brandon NIMMO a lot, hitting leadoff. Alonso hitting second here for the hits and walks. NIMMO for the runs for the leadoff spot. I love that over 0.5 hits or runs plus RBIs. He's been walking a lot lately. We'll just go look at them. I use DraftKings or FanGraphs. I don't have FanGraphs up, so I'll use DraftKings today. Just to kind of look at game logs and see how they've been doing. So in terms of looking at their over-under, so for runs, he's gone over in 4 of his last 5. We'll just kind of look at what's on here. He has gone over on the hits and walks, over. Those walks are absolutely huge when you're playing the props for hits and walks. Absolutely huge. So that's why I look at on-base percentage a ton when I'm breaking down hits plus walks, guys. And then for like runs plus RBIs, total bases, I'm looking a lot at the WOBA and ex-WOBA for those guys. But I love Alonso and NIMMO tonight, top of that lineup, going up against their old teammate, Steven Matz. A couple others that stand out here. So looking at, I always sort it, like I said, by sorting it by team implied runs. It's just like sorting it by team, so you can see the whole team together. You can see the matchup together. It's just a lot easier when you're doing your research. If you want to get in Boston, I don't mind LeMahieu over hits and walks on Rodriguez. It's not one of my favorites. It's not going to be one of my top 5s, but it is one that would be there. Toronto going up against Megal. You got to consider Vladdy when he is up there for hits and walks, even on total bases. MVP numbers here, especially against righties. Absolutely insane. 480 WOBA, 208 WRC plus, 384 ISO against right-handed pitching. Just insane. That's all I'm going to say about Vladdy. He'd be my favorite Toronto Blue Jay tonight to get in on that. Number 2 would be Bichette. I do like the runs and RBIs for Bichette there, that they have that there as well. Even Semien hitting leadoff, he just hasn't been as good over the last 7 days. So I take that form into account as well. So that's some PrizePicks plays. Covered some DraftKings in here as well. I'm going to bring up, actually, just give me a second. So anyone that's just jumping in now, anyone that's missed the start, if you want in on the giveaway here at the end of the show, I'm going to be giving this away about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to be giving away a Fanatics gift card, $10 to anyone. All you have to do, like the video and just throw up a question, comment in chat, and I'm going to have a random winner towards the end of the show here. So I wanted to look at some bets here as well before we close out. So just give me a second, and I am pulling up Cool Bet. And that's how we'll close it out with just a couple of bets I'm looking at tonight. It's very slow loading here at the moment. So on the sheet, I'm going to jump back over to the starting pitcher tab. I like to check that out when I'm looking at my bets and just kind of see what stands out in terms of value. Red Sox Yankees is close. It's minus 115 right now for Boston. So seeing that the Yankees and Garrett Cole as an underdog, I think that's pretty good value. Laying a bet down on that. Boston's been red hot, don't get me wrong, but Cole, like I said, he's leading the AL Cy Young race right now. So getting the AL Cy Young odds leader at a plus 102 favorite tonight, I definitely like that. Yankees bullpen is what is very concerning here, and the reason why this is like that number. If the bullpen was doing any better, wasn't as used up, I think the Yankees would probably be that minus 115 favorite. We'd probably see the Red Sox as an underdog here. But I do like that number. And then kind of going down, I do like Cincinnati minus 145 against St. Louis. Another one that stands out here, Musgrove just hasn't been good enough for me to consider a minus 139 on San Diego. I do like the Mets against Toronto minus 120. That seems like a really good number. The Mets just seem like a team that fit well going up against Mats. It seems like one of these blow-up games for Mats. Hate saying that as a Jays fan, Probably not going to enjoy watching the game tonight if that's the case. So to maybe add a little bit of enjoyment to that, I'm going to have some PrizePicks plays on the Mets, as well as betting the Mets here. -120 is just a really good number. I do like that. I think I like the over in that game as well. I think Toronto can put up some runs here too, but I see like a kind of like a 5-3, 5-4 type game for the Mets. Could be a little deeper than that. So I definitely like the over there as well. So that is some bets as well. If no one else has any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and do the random generator here and pick a winner. Travis Dickerson, you are the winner of the $10 Fanatics gift card. I am just typing that in here. I'm not sure if Travis is still in here right now. Hit me up in DMs in chat. Throw me your email, and I will get that sent off to you tonight. Congratulations. I'll be doing this every Friday on the MLB live show, so make sure to tune in. I'll be going over everything. Didn't go over the DFSR tools today, but I will go over that. I'm going to have some specific pre-recorded videos coming out very soon, going over that and how I use my sheet in together with the DFSR tools to build GPP lineups, which I'm starting to do a little bit more. Starting to slow down a little bit. We've got a 2-week break for NASCAR as well with the Olympic break. So I know Dane has got sheets out for, I believe, tennis, is for soccer for the Olympics. So we're covering a lot of sports. We got golf sheet for the Olympics is also going to be out probably Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, something like that as well. Just bought 6 shirts. Yeah, I think you had that spent from last week's, Tim. Before I had sent you the card, you had it all loaded up sitting in your cart. So that's awesome. Congratulations, guys. Thanks for the support. I truly appreciate it. But yeah, like I was saying, NASCAR's off on a break here. We got a lot of Olympic content going on as well. So make sure to check that out in chat. And I'm going to be putting together, speaking of NASCAR, a research sheet kind of looking at, now we're getting down to, I think, 5 or 6 races left until the playoffs come. So I'm going to be putting together a sheet for looking at all the regular drivers and how they have done at all the tracks for the rest of the season. So kind of a little bit of a research sheet that we can use going into the final bit of the season. And then I'll narrow that down as we get into playoffs, kind of as some research for the 10 races in the playoffs as well. So I've got that coming up. Adding more PrizePicks content to baseball, adding more to the PGA sheet as well in terms of PrizePicks research. So if you guys have any ideas or anything, just hit me up in DM, hit me up in chat, and I will make sure to add it to my list and get that up for you. So again, thanks for tuning in. It was a good show. Let's go get some green screens. If you got any more questions, hit me up in DFSR chat or over on the Discord. Thanks a lot, guys and gals. Have a great night.